gotta motivate.
Get up and keep going.
Celebrate
This life you've been holding.
Demonstrate
your love and devotion.
And everybody get up and get up. It's time to get it moving, y'all. Step up your game. You gotta motivate.
Get up and keep going.
Celebrate
this life you've been holding.
Demonstrate
your love and devotion.
And everybody get up and get up. Motivate.
Get up and keep moving.
Celebrate
this life is no illusion.
Demonstrate
the skills you've been using.
And everybody get up and get up.
And welcome back to yet another review by Zombill. In today's review, we're going to take a look at Shabam, the Big Dripper by A-Mod, which was sent to me by the good folks at ImperialMist.com. So, before I get started, I must point out I did receive this free of charge for purpose of conducting a review, but my opinion and thoughts remain true, honest, and accurate as always. So let's dive down to the table and take a big look at the Big Dripper. Okay, so here is the Big Dripper by A-Mod. Now this is kind of a clone, but then there's also been some improvements made that A-Mod made to it to make it a bit better. This is not the Cloud. There is a difference, and I'll point that out. This is the Big Dripper, because on the side of the box it actually does say Big Dripper. I know there's another version that's called the Cloud, but this is the first one that came out before the Cloud. And of course you see that they've got their names and logos everywhere. So let's open the box up. Alright. Of course you get extras. You get screwdriver, extra screws, extra insulator. You get O-rings. You know, I wish they would have included an extra spring for the top of the tank. That would have been nice. But these are the extras that we're given. And we also get the Big Dripper. And we get a nice polycarbonate tank, if I can get it out. Get a nice polycarbonate tank with a couple of O-rings on it. I have not used the polycarbonate tank because I'm afraid that some of the e-liquids that I vape might crack it. So you want to be safe when it comes to polycarbonate, because there are certain e-liquids that will do real damage to it. Now this is the Big Dripper. It does not come with a drip tip. This is not a drip tip. This is actually the plunger part. Now this is made out of 304 food grade stainless steel. You have a copper pin here for, you know, the best conductivity. So let's break this down and we'll go over it in detail. And here's the Big Dripper broke down. Of course you have your base, which we'll talk about here in a minute. You have the bottom portion of the top cap, which is where your juice and where the plunger action actually occurs. You have the spring, which goes on top of this here, and that's where the plunger action happens. And you have the tank, which holds 5 mils of e-juice, which that goes in right here, like so. And then you have this piece here, which this is where your drip tip goes, your 510 drip tip. This does not include a drip tip, so you have to get a drip tip yourself. And the one that I've been using, let me get this drip tip on here. The one that I've been using is like a drip tip that came with a tugboat. I mean, it matches up real good with the portion where the drip tip goes. Now you're going to take your top portion of the top cap right here, the top of the tank section, and you're going to put your drip tip through that way, like so. And then of course the top piece goes on there like this. Now, the way this action happens is that once you start to taste like your e-juices, like not tasting up to standard, you basically just give it a 1, 2, 3 plunge, and that will be enough to get your cotton soaked again. Now, this is where it comes out. There's a little tiny hole right there. See that little hole? It can't be but like maybe a 0.2 milliliter hole. So basically this works on compression. Every time you go to hit the plunge, that's forcing air down inside the tank, which then pushes the liquid out in that little hole, which then hits your cotton that's in the base of your RDTA, the big dripper. Now, this is the base. And of course I have my coils in here. I'm going to clear this up to where it looks better. Okay. Now, this is a really deep juice well. My guess is that it can hold an additional 2 mils. But of course you see you have your standard tri-post. And it's pretty thick holes. I'd say you'd be able to get 22 gauge wire through those holes if you needed to. Now the coil setup that I have in here right now is dual parallel 26 gauge 7 wraps over, which turns out to be about I think it was 0.2527, 0.25 to 0.27, something like that. But I built it that way because it needed some heat. Now on the bottom here you can see that it shows Subohm Innovations logo, which that's not correct. This is the portion of the big dripper that is the clone, and then it says made in USA, which in this case no it's not, because AMOD is a subdivision of Wodafo, and Wodafo is located in Shenzhen, and that's in China. So of course you see it's also got a serial number down there. Now these screws are for your negative posts, because your negative posts are not milled into the deck. They are removable, and I suggest tightening down these screws, because if you do not, they will move on you. Because I mean, you can kind of see the one negative post is a little bit jacked up right now. I have to actually fix that the next time I go to do a coil build on this. But for the most part, this base here, your dripper portion, is really good, high quality 304 food grade stainless steel. I've not had any issues with it, and I've been able to get the screws tightened down, that way the wire doesn't flop around. And I've had it to where it doesn't break the wire off too. That's really good. So good job on that, AMOD. So now the way you fill the liquid up in this tank is you fill it up like a Claramizer. You're going to take the top portion off of the tank and you're going to put your liquid down in there. Now as I said before, this holds 5 mils of juice, so you're pretty well set. 5 mils of juice here and about 2 mils of juice worth in the RDTA. That gives you about 7 mils worth total. So I'm going to go ahead and wick this up, put some juice in here, and we'll be back up top and we'll see how it performs. Okay, so now we're back at main view, and of course I've got the big dripper loaded up with some good juice that Imperial Mist sent on to me. So let's have a quick vape. It performs very good, and you know, I always like the plunger feature. That's pretty cool. I just wish that it would have had, you know, a drip tip that came with it, but I actually used a drip tip that I had from a tugboat clone on here, and it looks pretty spot on, doesn't it? That's a pretty good look for a big dripper. Now, of course, the clear section is probably better to some people, but you never know what's going to crack that polycarbonate tank. And I really dig the look of the 304 stainless steel, the food grade stainless steel. That's a great look, exceptional. So, the air holes, the little Cyclops slots, those are great, plenty of airflow. However, I hope that if A-Mod makes a version 3 of this, that they make it to where you have a choice on whether or not you can have dual coil or quad coil, because you can't have quad coil on this, even though it's set up for quad coil. On the actual deck, you have a spot for 4 feeders, but on the top cap section there's only 2. So I think they kind of missed the mark on that, but it pretty much works for what it is, you know, and it's a great atomizer. So if you fancy trying one of these out for yourself, you can go along to imperialmist.com. You can also go to their Facebook, which is right here. And once again, I want to thank the fine folks at Imperial Mist for sending this on to me. It's a great, enjoyable product. And I've been using it pretty much every day since I first got it. So, I hope you enjoyed the review. Please subscribe to my YouTube. And as always, my peeps and peepettes, happy vaping.